A lot of these comments are like, man, I would have pit maneuvered them, or I would have pulled in front of them and forced them out of the vehicle and all this. And it's like, dude, I don't know who's in it. I don't know how many people are in it. I know I don't have a gun, and I can only assume they do. So that's not something that I'm going to go push the issue on, right?
No, you're right. I agree with that part.
So a couple of, these realtors have sent me all that stuff. But then a lot of other people.
Did you put it all together in a file and take it downtown and be like, hey?
I kind of have something like that. Well, downtown doesn't need it. They're not going to do anything with it.
Detectives.
Yeah, they won't do anything with it.
I know. Just funny.
Like these pins and strings down there.
He's down there trying to find the perp.
Yeah. And so then somebody else said my car got stolen. And when they got stolen, they took my phone. And my phone was on and active and in the car for about 4 hours before they found it. And so I just followed my phone around, and he's got all these screenshots of everywhere his phone went. And one of the screenshots, it goes to that house, where my car was, right?
Oh, it's part of the operation.
And so,
hey, cops, you're telling me that we have very skilled detectives in this town, and the fucking community Facebook has put this together in like one day.
Yeah.
And like, you can't get this guy off the fucking street.
Right.
And I'm not bashing cops. I'm totally pro cop. 2 uncles that were cops. My cousin Grant is a cop.
Yeah.
2 of my friends were military policemen.
Anti-prosecuting attorney because they're a piece of shit.
It's insane, man.
Yeah.
The amount of we let people run amok and do whatever the fuck they want.
Under the heading of, well, you have insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I shouldn't have to use it if you did your fucking job.
Yeah. And you know what? Insurance wouldn't be as expensive if you maybe deterred these losers from doing this stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? Oh, well, I'm going to bitch about my insurance and then not do, like, come on. Be part of the solution.
Right.
That's a real problem.
And so, I've got all of this information. I've had a whole bunch of other people reach out to me telling me that they've seen the car at this location and this location and this location. So I know where the car's hanging out. And so today I had about 2 hours to kill before our podcast.
So I loaded up my guns and I went on an adventure.
So
literally
2 hours no.
I'm just kidding.
I didn't go on a killing spree.
I know I got here. I know I got here and you weren't here.
Yeah. Well,
you know, try to respect my time, Mitch.
Well, the stoplights in the ghetto take a little longer to get out of there than I thought. But yeah, so I went out with protection this time, and I figured I would just peruse the area. And really, the tool that I wanted to use the most was I was just going to slash the tires and do what I could to disable the car and then call it in.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. What happens if you do that and you somehow get the car back?
I'm confident after what I saw the other day. I'm confident the car will be deemed a total loss if we get it back.
That's not what I'm talking about. There is no win for you to do that.
So the win for me is basically stealing the car back from those who stole it from me and still collecting the insurance money.
So it's just a personal, like, yay, I did it?
Yeah, it's so this is a hard thing to do. So
I know,
like,
that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
That's a good topic of conversation.
It's a weird position to be in because you're trying to not let your pride get in the way, right? Pride cometh before the fall.
Yeah.
So this isn't a prideful thing.
Yes, it is.
But at the same time, pride is involved, but pride's not driving it. At the same time, it comes down to one of these things of like, if I know my car's there and if I didn't get off at the exit ramp and I didn't do what I did yesterday,
it's eating a hole in your brain if you know it's there.
It's not only is it eating a hole in my brain, I'm no different than the justice system that I'm bitching about not doing shit. Because here I've seen my own car and I didn't do anything.
Yeah, but
you know
can't,
what I mean?
You stealing the car, and I'm only devil's advocate this play.
Yeah.
You getting the car back for the insurance or whatever, doing their job doesn't change how they're prosecuted.
Yeah, it doesn't punish the guy.
I mean?
Right?
It doesn't keep him from doing it.
Right.
He probably is like, oh, I got to go get another one. This one's got flat tires.
Right. Well, so the other part of my time, like I was full on ready to, if things worked out perfectly, I was full on ready to like cancel you guys for the podcast. Because the other thing was like, okay, if I find it and nobody's in it, well, then we'll get a cop out here and we'll just let them sit here until somebody gets in it and drives it.
They won't.
And then they'll go catch them.
They might.
And
some of them guys are cowboys.
What's bullshit is the only thing the cops could charge them with that time is being in possession of stolen property. They can't prove who stole it, right?
Yeah. Which is a misdemeanor.
Right.
It's not even a felony.
Right. But yeah, it's trying to straddle that line between, do I want that car back now that I've seen it in this condition? No. But do I still want justice? Yes. And I feel like I can't complain about the police and their inability to do anything. And I don't say inability like they're incapable. They're fully capable. The problem
they don't have
is
the manpower.
Our prosecutor doesn't do anything with the police's good work. And so eventually on a long enough timeline, the police say, why do the work if the prosecutor's not going to do shit?
Yeah.
Right?
They don't give a
fuck. In other words, 20, 30 years ago, if you were caught driving a stolen car, you were charged with stealing a car. And then you had to like argue your way back out of it, right?
You had to prove.
My brother's cousin's buddy's uncle gave me this and blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
Whereas now they won't even try to prosecute you for stealing a car. They'll just go straight to in possession of stolen property.
Yeah.
And I know firsthand from personal experiences with close family and friends that in possession and stolen property can get drug out in the court system for 7 to 12 years, and you never see a day in jail, and you never see more than $1,000 fine.
Yeah.
So
it's bullshit.
It's total bullshit, and all they do is they all fall back onto, well, you have insurance, so let your insurance do the work. And even that bitch on the phone, the KCMO dispatcher, she was like, well, did you give this case number to your insurance? Because they should just be handling everything. And I'm like, they shouldn't have to handle anything if you would do your job. Right?
Yeah.
This isn't protect and serve anymore. It's like tax and extort.
It is tax and extort.
And so, we've deviated from what the police used to do. And now they just want to push fucking paper and help you process your insurance claim.
Yeah. Well,
and
they don't want to.
Right.
They don't want to. Cops want to do the right thing.
Yeah. And it's hard to talk about the cops in a bad light because it's not their fault. It's literally their general ownership or management's fault. It's the prosecuting attorneys and everything else. And I don't know exactly how police are funded. I don't know the ins and outs of that. So like,
it depends on where you're at.
Yeah. So if they collar a car theft suspect and they recover a stolen car, I don't know if that pays them anything. And obviously follow the money if you want to find the driver of motivation, right?
Yeah.
And so if the police are motivated to find stolen cars, that means they're motivated financially. They're going to get a perk, they're going to get an attaboy, the department gets a bonus or something for that, right? Maybe for all I know, and I'm totally speculating, for all I know, an insurance company might pay a police department $500 for recovering a stolen car. I don't know.
They fucking should.
They should, right? But it's very obvious that there is no financial motivation for the police to go after car thieves or anything like that because they have no motivation to do it.
Well, there's no motivation because, like you just said, they're not being prosecuted.
Right.
So there's no urge or what do I say? How do I say this? There's no exceptional reason for them to do so.
Yeah.
Like they don't have to go above and beyond to do that.
Right.
Like I drove by 8 crack houses that I know are going to get prosecuted. I'm going to work on that and not on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like when you glorify crime, like we have from 2019 till basically like
today,
a year and a half ago, maybe a year ago, like when you glorify crime and you don't punish people, it enables more crime.
Yeah.
People feel
mostly
free.
Peaceful protests.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When you burn down a building and no one gets in trouble for it, now it's like, oh, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Right.
And then when you do get caught doing whatever the fuck you want, you don't go to jail. Oh shit, I'll just steal another fucking car.
Right.
And then crime is up in these areas with all these liberal fucking prosecutors. It's to the point where guys don't want to be cops.
Yep.
Good cops don't want to do their job because they know there's nothing they can do about it.
Yep.
And all it does is creates a culture of lawlessness.
Yeah.
Basically. And that's where we are at now. You would think with, like you were saying, money being the driver, you would think these insurance companies would step up and be like, hey, what the fuck are you doing here?
Right.
Because all you're doing is driving the bus of higher insurance rates, which I know that means they make more money, but they're taking a hit at the initial.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Well,
I mean, what the fuck?
There were a couple of people that commented on there. And again, the people on that post, they love to bash KCPD, and it's not really their fault, right? But they get the blame because it all funnels through them.
Yeah, well, they're the face of it.
Yeah.
That's why.
And so there were a couple of people that were like, my car got stolen and I recovered it. Like I saw it parked on the side of the road.
I went and took
I had
the
the keys. And so I went and took it. right? And I drove, like one person said, I drove it straight to the police station because I didn't know what was in it. And so I drove it straight to the police station. I handed the keys over to him and I said, I just recovered my own stolen car, but I want you guys to check it out. I don't know what's in it. For all I know, there could be illegal stuff in there. And that person was arrested and placed, like detained until the police could prove, like she had to prove that she wasn't involved in the robbery.